but I had the heart of a lion, but in this body that I was just like, it wasn't happening. And my dream was to be a Navy SEAL. And so what do you do when your dream is to be a Navy SEAL, but you don't have any of the attributes that are necessary or that you think in your mind are necessary to do something like that? And so I didn't let that psych me out. I didn't let it trick me out. I had a heart of a lion, had this little bitty body, and this little kid bullied all my life. I used to watch my brother get beat up, and there's nothing worse than watching your brother get beat up and not being able to do something about it. And I was never able to do something about it other than throw one foot in front of the other. I remember I picked up a white T-shirt, and it ain't about muscles. It ain't about none of this. But what I'm saying is it's about accomplishing your dream at all costs. I picked up a little white, medium T-shirt, and I put it up in front of these muscled up guys that were lifting weights and this old barbell bench. And I said, I'm going to fill this out one day. They laughed me to scorn, but there's a old Chinese Mongol proverb that says, be careful when teasing a little baby cub, for one day they may become a ferocious tiger, and that's kind of was my MO my whole life. So I couldn't get in the SEALs because I didn't have the aptitude. I didn't have the stuff, but what I could do, and I went to what I could do, and that was I could go do Marines. That's no hit on Marines. I got a great foundation for there. So I did Marines. I got out. I tried to do the ASVAB test like 50 times. I still couldn't be a SEAL. So I went Blackwater. I took the test again. I got wounded in Iraq by a grenade, did many, many firefights, many deployments for the Marines in Blackwater. Ended up being the team leader of the infamous Nisar Square massacre. That's a whole other story. You can Google my name, all that stuff. But ended up going home, and I was at the end of my road in life. My dream was closing in on me. I didn't see how it was going to be possible, even though I had the physical maturity by now and the aptitude, because I just self-taught myself everything. And I later went and got a university degree, which that doesn't really matter sometimes. But I followed my dream. I remember seeing a Finding Nemo cartoon with my niece. I was eating my Cheerios with Jack Daniels and Vicodin every day and fentanyl because I was wounded, but that was an excuse just to do the fentanyl and Vicodin stuff. But I remember seeing Finding Nemo, and I watched it to the end, and I was like, who cares? I don't care about this fish story. Like, what does it matter? And I know that's pretty sarcastic or dramatic, but it's true. Like, I was like, who cares? Yeah, he can't find his dad or something, this minnow or whatever. Well, the thing is, it's a great story because he just keeps on going forward. He keeps swimming forward. And sometimes in life, you just got to keep on moving forward. You got to keep on moving forward. You got to keep on moving forward and repeat, wash and repeat, wash and repeat. And that's what I did. And I sat there. My life was kind of at its ends. I saw my dream closing as a Navy SEAL. But at the very end of the movie, a black screen came up and it said, keep moving forward. And I saw those big old block letters flash before my eyes. And I said, man, I'm going to do something with I'm going to go for my dream. And it's not about the SEALs, but it's about going for that thing that you never thought was possible, but it's burning in your heart. You know what I'm saying? And you guys have done that. And so you know what I'm trying to say here. And so I saw that moving forward symbol. And so I dumped those Vicodin down the toilet. Okay. And I started just running down the highway, just running every day. And then I got a SEAL contract, which was, a guaranteed spot to go try out for the SEALs, which doesn't mean anything. But long story short, I was able to accomplish this dream through the trust in Jesus, through the trust in God. I was standing on the shoulders of giants. I've heard other SEALs say, man, I would do buds again. I would do SEALs again. No, you wouldn't. I saw you crying for 3 hours under a log, PT. It's brutal. It's nasty, hard. And so it was brutal, nasty, and hard. I was trying to stay till I was a Master Chief. Hey, in life, you tell somebody your plans, and that's generally what's not going to work out. It's a lot
exactly.
It's like buying crypto. It's like, I'm going to make $1 million off this crypto. I'm going to put my money in it right now. And then all of a sudden the market just tanks on you, and life tanks on you just like that. And so life tanked on me in the SEALs. I got out on an honorable, but honorable don't mean nothing. Honorable is just on a piece of paper. Honorable is on a comrade's nod and a foxhole if you're covered in blood and smoke in a foxhole at the end of a battle. And that battle can be on the stock market in the crypto world. That battle don't have to be a physical kinetic battle, but it can be a mental, a spiritual, whatever battle you're going through in life. And so I come from there, from this smoke-filled battle. I did deployments in the SEALs. I was injured with a traumatic brain injury, but I got out. I was okay. Went through hell with my wife there, taking care of her, wiping her, carrying her upstairs. I remained a team leader. Went through my own persecution there because the Nisar Square thing kept on following me. Went through 15 years of testimony, federal and grand jury testimony, all this stuff. Got hit by a grenade, shrapnel, blah, blah, blah. Got out, okay? I'm like 3 weeks out. And we're trying to set up this GRACE, Girls Rising Above Child Exploitation, this safe house against to help sex trafficked girls into this safe house. Well, we used my VA loan. I decided to take a seat back because, you see, in 2015, I was only home for 3 weeks. My wife always took the back seat. So I said, I'm going to take the back seat. Well, the money was running out. We couldn't pay anymore, the VA loan. Well, all of a sudden, my buddy, he has a voice like this, and I can say his name, Cav, because he's in the French Foreign Legion now. He ran, whatever. But he's like, yo, bro, I got a job for you. He was in the SEALs too. And he's like, yo, you know John McAfee? And I was like, no, bro, I don't. He was like, check your computer, homeboy. And I was like, all right. And I looked at my computer, and he said, it's the McAfee antivirus guy. And I go, yeah. I don't know him, but I know of him. He's like, it's like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, bro. You want to go? You want to make money? And I was like, yeah, I want to make money. Well, John McAfee needed somebody to protect him. He was extremely paranoid. And so he needed somebody that he called in to him and not that had reached out to him ever. And so that's the reason why I became so close to John McAfee and like his son and then the CEO eventually of the crypto company, McAfee, Team McAfee, is because he called me and I didn't call him. Everybody else around him had called him. And even Janice, he was paranoid of. He was so paranoid. And if you think about it, he created the McAfee antivirus. Of course he's going to be paranoid. He was paranoid about bugs going into your computer when everybody was laughing at him about bugs going into your computer. He created that. He was programming computers the size of your house, when in NASA for the Apollo mission. He was no joke. Well, I get to John McAfee's. Long story short, I'll cut it there. Basically, I become a security guard, his personal right-hand man, his CEO. We had a big meltdown, fallout. That's a long story. And then I ended up getting charged with the same exact crimes as him in a federal indictment. I got arrested by 15 FBI agents out with my mom. I was about to leave the country for good because I was running from myself. And I was running from God. And I don't know about you guys, but I know this for sure. One thing's for sure in this life, or two things. Taxes, well, maybe not taxes for McAfee. But the second thing is that you just can't run from God. And I was running. I baptized myself after a 3-day coke binge in Medellin, Colombia. Man, I was out of my mind, and I was crazy. And I went on a 2-3 year sabbatical. I hung out with the 1%ers. I was just a bad dude all around, because I was running from my life and I was running from God. And I was 2 days out from leaving again. I was living in Thailand doing Muay Thai. I was living rogue in my life, had a Russian girlfriend. And all of a sudden I get zapped up by the FBI. 15 FBI agents, get thrown in solitary confinement for a little while, get spit back up like Jonah in the Bible. He's on a mission. He decides not to go on his mission for God. He gets swallowed up by a whale, spit back out. And now he's all covered in slime. Probably the acid took his hair and eyebrows off. He probably looked like SHIT. And now he goes on the mission, right? And that's the story of my life. I've always been forced by God to go on my missions. And now I'm on a mission to tell my testimony, to share the love of Jesus and God. And that's why I'm here today with you guys and to tell my story. And that's basically what happened.
That's, it's a mouthful, Jimmy. And that there's so much to your life and so much, so many things have happened. And, I'm sitting here listening and I'm thinking, realistically, you weren't just running from God, but you were running from yourself.
Yeah.
And I think finding yourself and with, the help and grace of the Almighty above, I think that brought you back to full circle. You're kind of back into yourself again, and you're actually realizing who you are. I've always said it's not how we fall down. It's not how many times we fall down. It's how we pick ourselves back up. And the fact that we pick ourselves back up, and the fact that we keep putting that one foot in front of the other, because if you don't, you'll never go anywhere in life. And the greatest journey starts with one step. And that's all it takes, is that one step to get that journey and roll. So, you know what, as a fellow soldier and as a fellow, servant to this country, I applaud your service to this country, sir, and very honored to have you on this show in that regard. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. It's an
I,
honor.
I remember you back in the day when you were working with John, when you were his right-hand man, and that was right around 2018, if I remember correctly.
That's correct. Yeah.
And there was, I don't know if Jem was there yet or not, or if she was just before you, but you had Jem and Jabo and, gosh, so many, Amanda, so many others. Just great interaction. I remember interacting with you guys because we were all part of the no bullshit crypto thing that John and Chris started.
Yeah, I like that, by the way. That was a great thing.
It was, and then it just kind of fell away, and then we took up the ball and ran with it for a little while, and just didn't seem to really get anywhere with that. So we stuck with what we're good at, and we stuck with things that we've been pretty successful at. So it's been a good run.
Man, it's funny you say that because by the way, I love your guy's name, the Campfire. This is serious. I mean, because the Roman soldiers, they walked back from war for like a year, and people wonder why we have PTSD now and stuff. Well, it's because you're back home in 48 hours from a war. But as you know, you were in the army. But back in the day, Roman Empire, you walked back for a year. Okay, going back from your war, and every night you're stopping at a campfire. Every night you're stopping at a campfire, and they probably didn't look as cool as homeboy with the cigar, but every day they're I'm just kidding. But they're walking back there every night. They're talking about what happened. They're discussing the war. They're decompressing for a year long. Then they get back home. Everything's okay. Us nowadays, we get back home in 48 hours, and then we wonder why we have so many issues. I don't know why I decided to bring that up. Sorry.
Do they even debrief anymore?
Not really. I mean, now they have these stupid things that just make you worse. They're like, we're gonna hold you in a cage for a week and try to decompress you. It's like, now you just made the monkey worse.
Right. Well, there's a lot of things to be said about soldiers coming home, about the lack of care that soldiers really receive. And back in December, we did a fundraiser to help people that were affected by COVID. And it turned into something greater than that. It turned into us helping a veteran here in Illinois. And she is suffering from a lot of things, and the VA is just jacking her up, it seems like, monthly, and making it even worse. So, I've taken it out, and I've been redoing a bathroom for her, trying to make a handicap accessible bathroom for her now on the first floor. And my plumber and electrician just finished that up yesterday. So I'm hopefully going to be in there sometime next week, putting the tile in and doing that work for her. Actually, she was just in the hospital a couple of days ago, and VA just keeps messing her up, it seems like, every time. So she's on a mission now to, when she actually gets better, she's on a mission now to make sure that this shit doesn't happen to vets, and that the VA doesn't continue to get away with that stuff. And there's a lot of important things that people don't realize. There's a lot of important steps that need to happen when soldiers come home, and how soldiers come home, and then they come home and they see stuff still happening over there that messes with their heads, that messes with our minds, that messes with our souls, our hearts, everything. Yeah. And we just sacrificed for the country. We wanted to provide retention of a freedom that was gained by our forefathers, right? And that's the only reason that we do what we do. That's the whole reason we do what we do. And to come home, in comparison to, say, Vietnam, it's night and day, right? It's night and day, because soldiers and vets do receive respect from the people. I see this a lot. Now, whether to say they receive due respect from the government, I don't know. I don't think so. But from the people I see that tide had changed over the years. And hopefully you've seen that as well.
Yeah, I have. A lot of, like for instance, the whole exit strategy, like you mentioned Vietnam. Here you had Hue City, right? HUE City, Hue City, which we lost 5,000 Marines. It was one of the bloodiest battles for the Marines in all their history, as far as at one time in an urban environment like that. And then all of a sudden, we have the big exodus out of Vietnam. And you have all these guys now and women looking back, and they're going, "Why was I there? What what an empty and tragic feeling." And so, but now we have the same situation going here, parallel here with the soldiers with the mass exodus from Afghanistan. Now, I'm not going to dare sit here and say that it wasn't time to exit out of there, but what I'm going to say that like, hey. There's a way to do it. First of all, you just reverse the order of what happened. You pull the military out last. Well, and you have the same thing like Fallujah, in Iraq. You lose all these Marines and Army, and then all of a sudden the insurgents just take it back over. And now I think, like you just said, we're having a super empty feeling about what we did over there. We sacrificed so much, lost brothers and sisters there, just like Vietnam. And of course, we get the respect now from people, thank God. We don't get spit on when we come back. Like you said, there's a big difference there. I agree. But for the most part, it's the same empty feeling of doing something but not accomplishing anything.
No, I totally agree with that. Now, let's switch topics just a little bit here. Let's talk about your crypto experience. Now, you didn't really learn anything or know anything about crypto until you met John McAfee. Is that right?
That's right, man. I had heard about Bitcoin. I probably wanted to buy something illegal at the time. I don't know what I was.
Right. Silk Road, all that bullshit.
Yeah. Like, who knows? It was something a little more worse than Kratom, but I don't know what it was. But so I had heard about Bitcoin and things like that, but I had no idea about it. And so when I showed up at his house, the very first thing that John McAfee said to me when I showed up to his house, very secretive guy, very paranoid, secretive guy, and who later was like my dad. It was really strange. But because I understood him, you see, I understood him. I took him seriously when I think a lot of people didn't take him seriously. Well, he brought me outside the very first time I saw him. He had like a Mac 10 or hanging on his chest in a 1911, a pistol. And I thought, this guy's out of his mind. Well, like the old lion brings me outside and he says, "Son, who is the most feared man on the battlefield?" And I said, I don't know. I was like, geez, man, this guy's out of his mind. And he's like, it's the oldest man. He said, "Do you understand me?" And I'll never forget, I looked into his crystal blue eyes and I knew exactly what he was saying. He was saying, "I'm the oldest man, McAfee here, and I've survived everything. Don't step on my, and I'm not going to step on yours." And I'm like, "You're not going to have a problem not stepping on mine because mine's so small." So that's what happened. We come back into the house, and I had an understanding of him from then on. I was like, man, I'm not going to mess with this guy, and he tests me in a lot of things. But what I was going to say, back to your question back to your statement, is that when I came in, there was like all these computers set up and his guards were trading crypto. And I was introduced to this world of crypto.
So what are your thoughts on cryptocurrency since then? I mean, I know you got involved with it then and you were, it was probably a buy and trade type thing. And you were everybody was all about making money at that point, more than likely. But how do you see it today? What do you envision this space as providing for humanity in the future? Or do you not see that?
Well, so there's it's like a dichotomous situation here, because on one plane, I'm like, man, I got so burnt by crypto. Like I got burnt by it. I feel like I got burnt. Of course I take responsibility for my actions, but also there's there can be a very nasty side to crypto because anytime there's a ton of money involved in anything, it can just get really bad. And
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I say that's a bad side to humanity, bro. I don't think that's a bad side to crypto. It's a bad side to any financial market. You know what I mean? It's inevitable.
Well, yeah. That's what. And so the second part of that is exactly what you're just leading me into, is that McAfee would do these interviews, and I would sit there on these interviews and just saturate what he was saying, and it opened my eyes up to the epic reality of crypto is the only way. Crypto is the only future. Okay, and like one time, for instance, interviewers that would try to get smart with him was a big mistake, but they would say something like, well, what about all the guns and drugs and black market that crypto is going to buy? He said, versus the guns and drugs that are bought with dollars every day, millions and millions and millions of dollars is already going on openly. He said it's already there. He said crypto is just providing you, whether you do something with illegal or not, is on you. But you're going to do it anyways with dollars.
Exactly.
Not to mention, I mean, crypto gives you a trackable mechanism, right? Like that, it's kind of a counter argument. Like, well, you know, they bitch about the drugs and all that shit, and like you say, it's happening with the dollar. But now you can also track it. Like the dollar in cash just goes somewhere. You can track it a little bit, but once it's physical, it's untraceable. Basically, I don't want to say untraceable, but it's not like Bitcoin. You can follow every fucking piece of it everywhere. You know, I mean. Yeah. Even with a lot of privacy coins, there's still abilities to track things based on spending habits or, you know, things like that. So there's, you know, it's not as easy, but it's still there. It provides all the mechanisms that we need.
Right.
It has all the mechanism we need. You know, McAfee just opened up the future. And man, I'll tell you, anything that McAfee ever said, it just simply came true. Okay. Like maybe his timetable was off, but will Bitcoin go to 1 million? If McAfee said it would, I'm not joking you. Like, I literally believe it will, because everything he always said came true. You never bet him money, ever bet him money on anything, or you'd lose. And what he said came true because he supernaturally, naturally knew the future. And if he said it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And so he said crypto was the future. And I started learning this from him, and I realized how right he was and how right you guys are just now. I feel much safer with a crypto transaction on the blockchain than I ever do with a money transaction and with your banks taking half of it.
Right. Well, a money transaction, you got to worry about whether it's counterfeit or not. Nobody carries around that little pen with them, right?
Yeah. And McAfee just exposed the big banks. And when you do that, you're going to ruffle feathers, you know, and people don't like that. And unfortunately, I think America is pretty far behind the curve in adopting this cryptocurrency thing, when Russia and other countries are full blown adopting it. And that's scary, because we need to go full blown adoption as well, or we're just going to be behind the curve.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time. I mean, I think there's still a lot of pieces left before we get to adoption, but we're getting so much closer. Like the real big kickers are a good user experience, and B, a good user experience that's still non-custodial, which is like, yeah, almost impossible right now, but we're getting close. Like it's just a matter of some, you know, second layer stuff, third layer stuff that really changes things. So yeah, NFTs have been like, you know, I end up talking about NFTs for the entire episode, so I'm trying to avoid going down the NFT rabbit hole. But NFTs are like, I think, the next really big step to that, because for the longest time, you know, at first it was a lot of, like you say, illicit activity that attracted people to Bitcoin, or like the really super duper like finance nerds or tech nerds that knew about it and got into it. Like, and then it kind of became a thing of trading and investors and finance, and like that was the crowd that was being attracted, but it was still kind of a small subset of people. And then Bitcoin hit 20 grand and we got a lot of media attention. So there was this whole rush of new people into the space. And then you had the crash for 3 years of the bull market. And we moved through that ICO phase into the DeFi phase. And then we hit NFTs, and suddenly there was this visual representation of something that had to do with blockchain. And even if you didn't give a crap about finances, you could connect with it because it's art, or it's a collectible, or it's a trading card, you know, something that you can relate to or be excited about. And so now we have this whole new wave of people that have never heard of Ethereum or Bitcoin or anything in their life, but have been an artist or whatever. And suddenly now they're using cryptocurrencies, and it totally makes sense. And the next step for them is learning what blockchain is and how the technology is going to revolutionize everything about everything, basically. So yeah, there's a long ways to go, but we're not that far away.
Yeah, I think John McAfee was really good kind of like you just explained. He was really good at just simplifying it. You know, in the SEALs, we used to call it a simple, stupid.
Keep it
Stupid,
simple, stupid. Kiss. That was
you know, like,
kiss. Yeah. Keep it simple, stupid.
yeah, you got to keep it simple for people, because there's monkeys like me that just are not going to understand what's going on until like you explain it to them a million times, and then you lose some money trying to transfer this crypto thing and cut and paste and, you know, all your stuff. But now this NFTs coming out. I don't even know about NFTs because I've been out of the game a little bit. But I've heard about it. I'm an artist. I do art, and I've wanted to get into the NFT thing as well. So it's pretty interesting. You just said that about NFTs.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I got sucked into super deep, like year and a half ago, maybe something like that. And it's changing shit. You know, I mean, it gives you, because it goes beyond art, right? Like NFTs provide a mechanism to verifiably, you know, or to verify ownership, right? And to prove date of creation to an extent and things like that. So it applies to like vehicle titling. It can apply to artwork. It can apply to collectibles. It can apply to tickets. It can apply to, you know, even much deeper things like that. Like when you start getting into supply chain and, you know, that sort of thing. So it opens up the next level of uses for blockchain, because it turns it into a more granular type situation, if you will.
You know, since we're on the subject of art, I'm sorry, Jimmy, have you talked to Amanda Nation anytime in the last couple of years? Because I remember back in the day, she was doing a lot of artwork. I remember her putting a lot of her art stuff out there. I'm curious as to, I'll have to hit her up on Twitter and see if she's been doing anything with the NFT space. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I would love to get into that. Because I do art, and I'm still learning the NFT thing. I would like to get into, because I heard it's pretty cool, you know. And, you know, McAfee used to talk about, you know, McAfee used to simplify like this. He used to use great analogies or examples. And he used to use the bottle of wine analogy. He said, you know, nowadays China or somebody can mimic or make a generic brand of your favorite wine, but you would never know. And they could sell you a bunch of this. And this has happened. It's almost bankrupt legitimate Napa Valley companies of wineries. But now with the blockchain, you can record it as soon as it's snipped off the vine, you know, the grape. And then as soon as it goes into the bushel, into the truck, it's recorded. Then it's recorded. But everything is recorded. And he used to have a great example about why the blockchain is so important and why the NFTs are important now, is because it's ownership. It's proof of ownership, proof of origination, and pretty cool stuff.
Oh yeah, it's a never-ending learning curve for me. Let's just leave it at that. I've been down this NFT rabbit hole for a while, and I pretty much now, you know, I got a pretty good grasp on it, and now it's just bettering that knowledge. You know, that's about all I can do at this point.
Yeah, I hear you. That's the story of my life, man.
You know, but it's kind of like you had, and this might sound a little odd, but you had John McAfee as a teacher, and I got my partner right here as my teacher. This guy, amazing. His brain is larger than life. I love it. And, you know, to be able to have the opportunity to pick that brain of his now and then is pretty amazing.
But, well, you know, that's the one thing I found in the crypto world is you have some smart mamba jambas. There are some extremely smart cats out there. And I mean, revolutionizing the way we think and do things. And I was just happy to be part of that, you know. It's really amazing.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, so Jimmy, I need you to pick an automotive object of any sort.
Muffler.
Muffler. Perfect. All right. Mitch, what body part is he replacing with a muffler?
His right elbow.
Nice. Okay. So now you have a muffler as your right elbow. What are you going to do with it?
Oh, man. Well, I used to talk with my elbows in Muay Thai, but, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do with that now.
That's going to be interesting to find out. Yeah, right.
You know, one of these days you'll be laying in bed and suddenly you'll be like, fuck, I know what I'm going to do with my elbow muffler.
Bro, all night about what I'm going to do with my elbow muffler.
You are, and I expect a fucking tweet or I expect a direct message when you come up with that fucking answer, buddy. Let me tell you what. I swear, you better do it too.
I'm going to say we need to NFT this now.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. No, seriously, you're gonna have to keep in touch with and share some of your artwork with us. And I do have one more question for you.
Yeah.
If you could have any superpower in the world, what superpower would you choose and what would you use it for?
Well, the old me would have said X-ray vision, okay? Because I lived in Colombia, but the new me, that's the old man. The new me, I would say any superpower.
Any superpower.
Oh man. Well, maybe. Well, I guess to see in the future, is that a superpower?
Yeah, it sure is. What would you do with it though?
Well, I would make sure I didn't make the same mistakes I've made in the past. Because for me, that's a big deal to be able to see in the future. That's a big deal. But
motherfucker, if you ain't got that bite in the ass right now saying, don't do that shit again. I don't know if that future look's going to help you, brother.
Hey, the FBI told me, man, you need to write a book or just grow tomatoes.
Grow tomatoes. I love it.
Yeah, grow tomatoes. I'll never forget that.
Oh, shit.
Write a book or grow tomatoes. That's not bad advice.
No,
it's not for me. Not bad advice. I mean, will I take it? Probably not.
No, you definitely need to write the book, though. That would be awesome.
Yeah, well,
there's nothing wrong with growing tomatoes either.
Nothing wrong with growing tomatoes.
A lot of tomatoes, just shitloads of tomatoes.
NFT them now. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, NFT tomato.
NFT tomatoes.
NF tomato. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
All right, somebody's gonna mint that tomorrow. I know it.
It's gonna happen. I mean, they minted toilet paper for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but that pissed me off, dude. Fucking Charmin came into the space like Rarible was blowing up, and it was right after Mark Cuban appeared, and suddenly celebrities decided they wanted to get in, and then businesses got in. Taco Bell minted tacos, and then Charmin was like, Charmin came out and minted fucking shit paper, and they're like, we're the very first toilet paper on the blockchain. I'm like, did you even search on OpenSea? Like, there's fucking dozens of toilet papers that have already been minted, and they come out and like try to claim that they're first. It was just kind of funny. It pissed me off. So it was funny that you mentioned it.
It was funny.
Got me off on a tangent, but whatever.
It's all good. It's all good. Any last words, Jimmy, tonight?
No, since I've been saved by God, I tell you, I feel like I have a superpower now. And I know that may sound crazy, but Jesus is a man, a God of miracles. And if he can change my life, if he can change this guy's life, he can change anyone's life. And I guess that's what I'd close on my side. I mean, I'm so honored to be part of this Campfire podcast. I just appreciate y'all having me on, really.
Brother, he can only change your heart. It's up to you to change the rest.
He could that's right. He can change your heart. He can restore your heart. But at the end of the day, it takes, you gotta get up, like you said, again. That's right.
Hell yeah. Jimmy, this was amazing. Thank you so much for being on the show tonight. I had a blast. I definitely look forward to interacting with you more in the future and staying in touch.
Yeah. Can I tell all your viewers to go to @MightyWarrior 2021 on
Absolutely.
My that's my main platform. So at Mighty Warrior 2021 on my TikTok, and that's about it, man. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, man. This was a good time.
Okay, everybody. I'll see y'all, and I hope to be part of y'all's podcast again.
Right on, brother.
We'll definitely have this round 2.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See y'all.
Take care.
Take it easy.
Elbow muffler out. All right.
Elbow muffler
All right. Peace. All right. See you. All right.
Have a good night.
Take care.